All right, so starting on Thursday this week, we have essentially a dumbbell version of Randy. We didn't know if we were going to have people return the equipment or not right off the bat last week when we programmed this, so we wanted to have something that was more fun, which is why it is the way it is. That's a lot of snatching in a row. So a couple things you can do is you can break it up for people. I added in some air squats because they're not going to do any lower body the next day anyways. So essentially, I just added something in to break it up. So like an idea was 2 rounds of 40 dumbbell snatch and 20 air squats, and that way they can put the dumbbell down at least for a little bit. For the second part, for people that I know the first part's too intense, I just created an EMOM versus a 4-time format. But again, that's again based on the athlete, but these are just ideas. So they can do unloaded lunges, they can do single single arm farmer carry lunges, they can change the format. You know your athlete, so we'll change that based on what we need to do. Wanted to go for some interval training that was a little bit shorter in general. So what we did here is we did 5, 4, and 3 minute timers, and we started with a lot of Turkish get-ups. Turkish get-ups are a slow movement. They will do a little bit, not necessarily over patterning, but they'll work their shoulders a lot with the Turkish get-ups combined with the dumbbell snatch and the overhead walking lunges. But realistically, when it's something that's isometric or stability based, I'm not really worried about injury like I am when it's contractions. And so I think that they're going to be okay there. Because the 5 minute timer, they may have more time, they may not. I put burpees in there, so that's something relatively unloaded, relatively cyclical, not hard on the muscles. Okay, probably less time with the 4 minute timer because they're going to be tired. The Turkish gaps are going to get longer, so we went with bent over rows. Same idea here, 3 minute timer, probably less time, but we went with push-ups. So essentially something that's kind of cyclical with the burpees, still a pushing motion, then a pull, then a push. Okay, and so lots of different scales there, reps, loading on the Turkish get-ups, movements. So some people did upper body or Murph prep because it was pushed back a day. So then I changed the movements to lower body movements instead of upper body movements. So just doing what we need to do there. Saturday, just wanted something long. Haven't done a 5K run in a while. Done a bunch of different running intervals. So put in a 5K run. They can bike, they can row, they can do whatever they want to do. It's about 20 minutes though when we're looking for effort. Aerobic, which means not super intense, but something that's a little bit longer. Sunday's our rest day, and then we're doing something that's Hellenish. Okay, and so for Helen, it's right there, 3 rounds for time, 400-meter run, 12 kettlebell swings, and 12 pull-ups. We're trying to simulate that depending on what they have. So that's why it says hip hinge. We can give them whatever they have. If they have a sandbag, they can do sandbag cleans or sandbag deadlifts. Pulling movement. So again, bent over rows or prone rows, supine rows, ring row, pull-ups, whatever they have available to them, that's going to be easiest. Okay. That'll be something short and intense and kind of fun to start off the week. Then we go to upper density work, essentially. So not necessarily a sprint, but we wanted something shorter, and that's almost like a sprint. This is going to be a lot more muscle endurance than like a sprint is a lot more lactic or lactate, which obviously there is some of that in muscle endurance, but it's a lot more muscle endurance here. So strict handstand push-up AMRAP, rest, do it twice. Twice out on AMRAP is going to be plenty. If they can't do strict handstand push-ups, I would probably have them do strict press, but they may have to do push press depending on their implement. So Jennifer is a great one to use here as a reference. She has a 25-pound kettlebell or 5-pound dumbbells. The 5-pound dumbbells are a little light, so she might have to do an AMRAP push press with that 25-pound kettlebell single arm, and then 2 sets each side. Okay. Idea here is going to be pushing density, so a lot of shoulder work. So the push-ups into a handstand hold, that's going to be hard on shoulders, pecs, etc. Renegade rows into hollow body. So that's a lot of core. It's still a lot of shoulder, but it's also a lot of back. Okay. So switch ups for those. Handstand hold, they can do plank, they can do shoulder taps, they can do whatever we think. They can do a pike, put their feet up on the couch, whatever we think is going to be best there. For renegade rows, can do bent over rows, can do pull ups. And then on the hold, they can always do something different too. If they do have a bar, they can do hollow body hold hang, right? An active hang, essentially. They can do a lot of different things, so just kind of change that depending on what people have available for them. We have been doing a lot of high intensity throughout this video, and so the next day is literally just lifting, okay? And so the single arm front rack dumbbell and plate split squat, I did put a video from YouTube in there in the program A. I didn't write the program B, so they should have videos for all of this. I also put a video from YouTube in for the skiers, so there should be a video for that. Different vectors here with the Cossack squat, the goblet single leg walk and good morning, goblet wall sit, so a little bit of isometric, and then really working on a skill or stability here with the single leg counterbalance holds. These are probably going to be the hardest one to alter, but realistically, you could have them elevate it and then try and get as low as they can, so they could, put a bunch of books up. I would say that's probably dangerous, but if they have a little stool or something, not stool, a little table, they could try something like that. They could hold on to the wall. They could hold on to the door. They could do paleo chair if they're not comfortable doing single legs. There's a lot of different things they can do there. Hopefully this helps. Have a good week.